The security guard's hand slammed against my shoulder before I could reach the elevator. "Employees only," he barked, blocking my path. "I was an employee," I said, holding up the envelope that held the last of my dignity, my termination letter. The marble lobby swallowed my words. Everyone turned, their designer shoes whispering judgment across the floor. I could feel the cameras blinking above me, watching, waiting for the mess to unfold. The guard's voice cut through the hum of glass and money. "You don't belong here." Maybe he was right. I didn't belong among the gold, the tailored suits, the kind of power that looked at people like me and saw background noise. But before I could turn away, a deeper voice sliced through the air like thunder splitting the sky. "Let her in." Every head turned. Adrian Vale, the CEO himself, was standing by the elevator, his gray suit immaculate, his expression unreadable. Then he said the words that froze the entire lobby. "Let my boss in." "Welcome to the story parlor. I'm really glad you're here. Stay close. The story only gets deeper from here. Don't forget to subscribe. It's about to get personal." The word boss echoed through the marble atrium like an inside joke I didn't understand. Every security guard went still. The receptionist blinked, her mouth half open. Someone actually dropped a clipboard. Adrian Vale didn't repeat himself. He just looked at me like I was some equation he'd already solved and gestured for me to follow. I should have walked away. I'd been fired less than 48 hours ago. My entire career, gone with one HR email. But something about the way he said it, like it wasn't a rescue but a command. My pulse stuttered. Cameras clicked. I caught my reflection in the mirrored wall. Coffee-stained blouse, frizzy hair, eyes too wide for this world. "Mr. Vale." "Sir, I think there's been a mistake," I whispered when the elevator doors slid shut around us. He didn't look at me. "There has been. You leaving before I was finished with you." The words hit harder than the fall that had landed me here. I remembered the charity gala last week, the power outage, the chaos, me stepping in to fix what his elite planners couldn't. He'd noticed briefly. "But I never imagined this. Why did you call me that?" "Your boss." His gaze finally found mine, dark, calculating, almost amused. "Because starting now, that's exactly what everyone will believe." My stomach dropped. "What? Why?" The elevator chimed softly, and as the doors opened to the top floor, he said, "Because I owe you a debt, and the only way to pay it is to give you power you'll wish you never had." The penthouse floor didn't look like an office. It looked like a secret. Muted gold lights glowed against walls of black glass. The city stretched below, infinite and untouchable. I'd never been this high, not just literally, socially. Adrian walked ahead, silent, his reflection trailing beside mine in the glass. My heels clicked like an echo of nerves I couldn't hide. When we reached his office, he closed the door with one motion. The lock clicked.
"Sit," he said.
I hesitated. "You're not serious about." "I don't joke about power," he cut in, crossing to the window. The skyline bled silver over his silhouette. "You saved me from a PR disaster at that gala. If you hadn't stepped in, the investors would have walked. You have something my entire board lacks, instinct. That doesn't make me your boss." "It does now." He turned, eyes sharp as glass. "For the next 30 days, you're going to act as if you are. Publicly." My breath caught. "You're insane." He smiled, barely. "Perhaps. But I need the press to believe I've stepped back. It'll buy me leverage against a board that's been plotting to remove me. And I'm the decoy? The face of reform." His gaze softened, almost imperceptibly. "You'll attend meetings. Sign nothing. Speak rarely. But you'll be seen." The gravity of it sank in. He was handing me a role I couldn't possibly play. A lie dressed in silk and danger. "What do I get?" I asked finally. He paused. "Then, everything they took from you and more." Outside, thunder cracked against the glass. Inside, something between us shifted, something neither of us could undo. The storm outside pressed shadows across the glass walls, flashing light over his face, his jaw carved in steel and restraint. I should have felt powerful. The man who owned half of Manhattan had just handed me a throne. But it didn't feel like victory. It felt like standing on the edge of a skyscraper in heels, pretending not to notice the wind. "I can't play pretend for you," I said quietly. Adrian studied me like a man reading a classified file. "Then don't pretend. Learn." He came closer, not close enough to touch, but close enough that I could feel the static between us hum like an exposed wire. "Did you always get what you want?" I asked. "No," his answer was immediate, unguarded. "Only what I can control. And me." That earned the faintest flicker of a smile. "You're the exception. You were chaos the moment you spilled coffee on me." I blinked. "You remember that?" "Every drop." His voice dropped too, softer now. I'd forgotten what it's like to be surprised. The elevator's hum echoed faintly through the floor. I could smell the rain through the open vent, sharp and clean against the electric scent of his cologne. "Why me?" I whispered. His eyes lingered on mine, unreadable, restrained. "Because you look at me like I'm still human." Something cracked inside me. Not romance. Not yet. Just recognition. But before I could say another word, his phone buzzed on the desk. He turned away, voice low and clipped. "Make the announcement," he told whoever was on the other end. "Ms. Hart is now the acting chair of Vale Industries." My knees almost gave out. It wasn't pretend anymore. By morning, my face was everywhere. Lena Hart, the mystery woman behind the billionaire. Headlines spun faster than I could breathe. Cameras waited outside my apartment like wolves scenting blood. My phone buzzed until the battery died, friends, reporters, strangers asking who I really was. I didn't even know anymore. At 8 a.m. sharp, a black car waited outside my building. A driver in a suit held the door open. "Mr. Vale requests your presence." Inside the car, silence hummed like a warning. My reflection in the tinted glass looked foreign, a woman in borrowed confidence, holding a secret she couldn't return. When I reached the tower, Adrian was already in the boardroom. The air inside was colder, sharper, filled with suspicion. 12 directors sat around a table polished enough to see the tension in their faces. "Gentlemen," Adrian said, voice calm but lethal, "Ms. Hart will be joining us as acting chair effective immediately." A murmur rippled through the room. One of them, a man with silver hair and a shark's grin, leaned forward. "With respect, Adrian, this is highly irregular." Adrian didn't blink. "So is betrayal. Yet here we are." The man's jaw tightened. "You can't just install someone." "I can," Adrian interrupted, "and I have." Every gaze turned to me. The room spun faintly. My palms were slick, my heart pounding too loud. Adrian's voice softened just enough to reach me. "Ms. Hart, would you like to say something?" This was the test, the moment that could expose me or crown me. I stood, smoothing invisible wrinkles from my blouse. "Only this," I said, forcing my voice steady. "I didn't come here to replace anyone. I came to remind this company what leadership looks like when it has a pulse." A silence followed, the kind that changes rooms forever. For one heartbeat, no one moved. Then, slowly, Adrian smiled, that cold, satisfied kind of smile that meant the game had just begun. "Well said," he murmured. Meeting adjourned. The directors rose, muttering under their breath. But not the silver-haired man. He lingered, eyes sharp as scalpels. "Careful, Vale," he said quietly. "The board doesn't take kindly to surprises." Adrian didn't even glance at him. "Then they'll hate what comes next." The man left, the door closing like the end of a warning. I turned to Adrian. "You're making enemies in front of me now." He stepped closer, his voice low, deliberate. "They need to believe you're untouchable, even if you're not." His gaze held mine, unreadable, magnetic. The air between us thinned until I could feel the gravity of him. "Why are you doing this?" I asked, almost afraid to know. He reached past me, brushing my shoulder as he opened the door. "Because the person trying to destroy me isn't outside that room," he said. "It's inside this building." Then softer, almost a confession. "And you're the only one I can trust." The world tilted. Trust. That word had teeth. By the time I reached my new office, If you could call a glass box with a skyline view mine. The word kept replaying, biting into every thought. Adrian Vale trusted no one. That much the city knew. His empire was built on loyalty contracts and fear. But now, somehow, me, the woman who'd spilled coffee on his $1,000 suit, was the only person he claimed to trust. It didn't make sense, unless trust was just another move in whatever corporate war he was fighting. I sat behind the desk, still too afraid to touch anything. Every surface gleamed like it had never been breathed on. A single file sat in the center, my name printed across the tab. Before I could open it, the intercom crackled. Adrian's voice filled the room, low and restrained. "Ms. Hart, my office. Now." My pulse spiked. As I walked toward the elevator, cameras turned. Employees whispered. The world was watching the coffee girl play queen and waiting for her to fall. The elevator doors opened. Adrian was waiting. Adrian stood by the window again, his back to me, hands clasped behind him like a man staring down his own city. The skyline shimmered beneath the rain, neon and fog twisting together in quiet war. "You wanted to see me?" I asked, my voice too small for this office, too human for the marble and glass. He turned. His expression was unreadable, a man carved from restraint. "You're trending in 17 countries," he said. "Congratulations. I didn't ask to be famous." "No one ever does," he replied. "They just forget that attention is a currency, and I just made you rich." I folded my arms, trying to hold myself together. "Why are you really doing this, Adrian? What do you get out of pretending I'm your superior?" His gaze cut sharp. "Protection. From what?" "From the people who smile at me in meetings and poison my company behind closed doors." He walked toward me, voice lower, darker. "They won't move against me while you're in the spotlight. They'll hesitate. They'll underestimate you. That's what I need. And when it's over?" He stopped inches away. "Then you go back to your world, Miss Hart, with your debts erased and your name untouchable." I swallowed hard. "And you?" "I don't get to leave my world," he said. "I just build taller walls." He looked away, but I caught something behind his words, something lonely. "Then maybe," I said softly, "you need less walls." He didn't answer, but for the first time, his silence felt like surrender. By noon, the office had become a stage. Assistants hovered, executives paraded, and every look sent my way carried the same unspoken question. What spell did she cast on him? Adrian ignored them all. Every decision, every signature, every order went through me, at least on paper. The illusion was flawless. But inside that perfection, the cracks began to form. When the meeting with the PR team ended, I lingered behind. The air hummed with quiet electricity. Adrian loosened his tie, the first sign of imperfection I'd ever seen from him. "You handled that well," he said. "You didn't flinch when they tried to undermine you." "I've been underestimated before," I replied. "It's almost comfortable now." His mouth twitched, something between amusement and respect. "Comfortable isn't the word I'd use for this situation." I hesitated. "What word would you use?" He looked at me, really looked, and for a heartbeat, the world fell silent. "Dangerous." I should have laughed. I should have broken the tension, but the word wrapped around me like silk dipped in warning. Then his phone buzzed. He checked it, and the faint ease vanished. The boards called an emergency meeting. Without me. "That's not normal, right?" "No," he said, already reaching for his jacket. "It means the wars started sooner than expected." He paused by the door. "You're coming with me." "Why?" "Because if they're moving against me, they'll come for you next." The way he said it, flat, certain, sent a cold rush through me. I followed him out, unaware that this was the moment everything would change. The elevator ride to the executive floor was silent, except for the faint rhythm of the rain against the glass. The city looked different from this height, colder, lonelier. Adrian stood beside me, his reflection stretched across the mirrored wall. Every inch of him was composed, but I could sense the tension in his stillness, like a storm waiting for permission to break. "What do I do in there?" I asked. "Stay quiet," he said. "Watch." Remember everything. I'm not a spy. His eyes met mine. You are today. The elevator stopped with a soft chime. The doors opened to a smaller conference room, darker, hushed. A dozen people looked up, the same directors from before, minus one empty chair at the head. Adrian's chair, the silver-haired man. Hail, I finally caught the nameplate, smiled without warmth. Mr. Vale, he said. We didn't expect you. I gathered. Adrian's tone could have cut glass. You'll forgive me if I prefer to hear accusations to my face. Hale's gaze flicked to me. And you brought your publicity stunt. I spoke before I could stop myself. You mean the woman running your company while you plot to dismantle it? A few heads turned. Adrian's jaw flexed, half irritation, half pride. Hale smirked. Careful, Miss Hart. You might start to believe your own headlines. Maybe I already do, I said. For a heartbeat, no one breathed. Then Adrian placed a hand at the small of my back, firm, grounding. She's with me, he said softly. Remember that before you decide what side you're on. It wasn't romantic, not yet. But in that touch, I felt something I hadn't in weeks, safety. And that terrified me more than all their threats. The meeting detonated slowly, one veiled insult at a time. Numbers were questioned, decisions dissected. Every word aimed to erode Adrian's authority, and, by extension, mine. Yet he stood calm, collecting their hostility like evidence, while I sat beside him, memorizing every mask in the room. Finally, Hale leaned forward. We're filing a motion to audit your leadership, Vale. The investors have concerns about your recent distractions. His eyes flicked toward me. Adrian's reply was almost bored. Concerns are not facts. They will be, Hale said smoothly, once the media starts asking why a terminated employee was suddenly elevated to executive power. A chill ran down my spine. That was their play, destroy his credibility through me. Adrian saw it too. You leaked that story, he said quietly, and you'll regret it. Hale's smile widened. You won't threaten me in front of witnesses. Adrian stood, slow and deliberate, his voice silk over steel. That wasn't a threat. That was a promise. The directors began murmuring, some uneasy, some eager. I wanted to pull him back, to stop him from crossing whatever invisible line he'd drawn, but before I could, his phone lit up again. He glanced at it and the color drained from his face. I'd never seen him falter. Not once. Until now. He handed me the phone without a word. On the screen, a single message glowed. Check your accounts. She's not who you think she is. My breath caught. My name was attached to a list of transactions I didn't recognize. Offshore accounts, forged signatures, falsified transfers. The room went still. Hale's smirk returned, triumphant. Adrian's voice was low, dangerous. Who did this? Every gaze turned to me. I wished I knew the answer. The room pulsed with tension, so thick I could taste the metallic edge of panic. I didn't do this, I said, my voice breaking the silence like glass. I swear to you, Adrian, I don't even know what those accounts are. Hale folded his arms. Convenient. A woman plucked from obscurity suddenly has hidden assets tied to Vale Industries. He leaned back, savoring it. Almost poetic. Adrian's gaze burned into me. Sharp, searching. Not disbelief exactly, but calculation. Leave us, he ordered the board. They hesitated. One look from him sent them scattering. The door closed with a soft, final click. I turned to face him, heart pounding. You don't believe them, do you? He stepped closer, eyes storm-dark. I want to believe you. Then do. But someone used your credentials, he said quietly. That means either you're lying, his voice dropped lower, colder, or someone inside my company wants me to destroy you. I swallowed, fear clawing up my throat. What are you going to do? He hesitated, the distance between us electric and unbearable. Then, find out which one you are. The elevator chimed outside. Footsteps approaching. The sound of those footsteps echoed like a countdown. The door opened, and a man I'd never seen before walked in, tall, lean, wearing a black suit that didn't belong to any Vale Industries department I knew. His presence was wrong, too quiet, too precise. "Mr. Vale," he said smoothly. "Security forwarded the audit report you requested. It's worse than we thought." Adrian took the folder, jaw tense. "Define worse." "Transactions linked directly to Ms. Hart's employee ID. Repeated access from her login over the past 3 weeks." I stared at him. "That's impossible." I was fired for most of that time. The man's gaze was flat. "Then whoever did it knew you'd make the perfect scapegoat." The word scapegoat hung heavy between us. Adrian's silence was worse than accusation. When the man left, the quiet returned, raw, suffocating. "Someone's framing me," I whispered. "You have to know that." "I know what the data says," he replied. "And I know what I saw the night of the gala. When the power went out, you were the only one who moved toward the servers. Because I was trying to fix it. Or you were finishing something." That hurt more than I expected. I stood, hands shaking. "You think I came here for you? For some corporate game?" "I came to pick up my paycheck, Adrian. I didn't even want to see your face again." He stepped closer, eyes burning. "And yet here you are, at the center of a war you shouldn't even know exists." "I didn't ask for this." "No," he said softly, "but you fit too perfectly for coincidence." His words felt like betrayal wrapped in logic. I grabbed my coat and turned for the door. "If you're going to destroy me," I said, "at least have the decency to find proof first." "Lena, don't." The elevator doors closed before he could say another word. By the time I hit the lobby, I couldn't tell if my chest hurt from anger or heartbreak. Cameras flashed as I walked out into the storm, the city swallowing me whole. Somewhere behind those windows, I knew Adrian Vale was watching. And for the first time, I couldn't tell if he wanted to protect me or erase me. The storm hadn't stopped. Rain slicked the sidewalks, washing the neon into rivers of color. I walked without direction, past crowds, cameras, whispers. My name was trending again, this time for all the wrong reasons. Corporate thief, Vale's mistress, scandal in skyscraper paradise. Every headline a dagger, every flash a judgment. By the time I reached my apartment, the building's doorman wouldn't even meet my eyes. Upstairs, the door to my unit hung open, lock broken. Inside, ruin. Files gone. Laptop missing. Drawers turned inside out. Someone had erased my life. A single business card lay on the floor by the window, damp from the rain. No name, just a number and an embossed black symbol, a crescent inside a circle. My phone buzzed seconds later. Unknown number. "Stop running, Miss Hart," a voice said.
"Mail. Come."
"You're safer with us than with Vale." "Who is this?" "A friend of someone you embarrassed." A pause. "You were never meant to survive this game." The line went dead. My hands shook. I didn't know who they were, but I knew one thing. I was a target. I didn't call the police. The last time I trusted systems built by men like Adrian, I lost everything. So I grabbed my coat and left through the fire exit. By the time I reached the street again, a black car was waiting at the curb. For a second, I thought I'd been followed. But then the window lowered, Adrian.
"Get in," he said. "Why?"
"Because they're already watching you." I hesitated. His expression wasn't cold this time, it was haunted. Inside, he said nothing at first. The car glided through the rain. Finally, I spoke. "You think this is about you, don't you? Maybe it's bigger than your boardroom war." He exhaled slowly. "It started with them. But whoever's behind this, they've been inside my company for years. Then we find them." He turned to me, startled.
"We."
"You said you trusted me." I reminded him. "Let's see if you meant it." For a moment, something like respect flickered in his eyes. "If we do this, you'll see things you can't unsee." "Then close your eyes for me," I said quietly. The car stopped at an unmarked garage beneath one of Vale's subsidiary offices. Adrian opened the door, motioning for me to follow. Inside, servers, screens, rows of data terminals humming like sleeping beasts. "This is where it started," he said. "The first breach. Someone rerouted internal transactions through dummy accounts, yours included." I leaned over a monitor, scanning code. I barely understood. But one pattern jumped out. All the transfers traced to a name, E. Hale Group Holdings. Hale, I breathed. Adrian's jaw set. He's behind it. Before he could say more, alarms blared. The security feed flickered. A shadow moved through the corridor. Black coat, familiar posture. The man from the board meeting. Adrian grabbed my wrist. They found us. We ran, through steel doors and red lights, breath ragged in the siren noise. He hit the elevator button, then cursed under his breath. Locked out. I looked around. The maintenance shaft there? He followed my lead without question. The moment we climbed inside, the lab doors burst open behind us. Through the grate, I saw Hale's men flooding the room. They want the data, I whispered. No, Adrian said. They want you. My chest tightened. Why me? He met my eyes, voice low and raw. Because they think you're the only leverage left against me. The sound of boots drew closer. We kept climbing, each rung colder, slicker. And just before we reached the top, a hand grabbed my ankle from below. I kicked hard. The grip on my ankle loosened, a grunt echoing up the shaft. Adrian pulled me higher until we collapsed in the darkness above the maintenance hatch, breathless and shaking. For a long moment, all I could hear was the hum of the building. Beneath that, footsteps, voices, the clatter of security weapons. Adrian moved first. He leaned close, whispering, "We have 5 minutes before they breach the floor. There's a service stairwell 2 levels down. Follow me." I didn't move. They came for me, Adrian. Why? His jaw flexed. Because you're not just a name in my company database anymore. Whoever set this up used your ID to move funds tied to offshore accounts. Money I didn't authorize. If the world believes you did it, they bury you. If I protect you, they bury me too. So what now? We run until they stop chasing? He looked at me, his eyes stripped bare of the usual composure.
No.
We fight back. But if we fail, you disappear first. You understand. I did.
Too well.
We crept through the service corridor, shadows slicing between flashes of red light. The building above us was a living thing, electric, trembling with the pulse of chaos. Then voices. Coming closer. Adrian grabbed my hand and pulled me into a narrow alcove between storage units. The air was warm and close, our breaths colliding. "You shouldn't have come tonight," he murmured. "They would have left you alone if..." "If what?" "If I hid." I cut in, eyes fierce. "You don't get to protect me by lying to me." He stared at me then, really stared, and something inside him cracked. "You think I wanted this?" His whisper was jagged, unguarded. "You think I don't wake up every day wondering what part of me they'll use against you next?" "Then stop trying to do it alone," I said. "I'm already in this. So use me, or trust me, but don't lock me out." His hand tightened around mine, the faintest tremor betraying the weight he carried. "Trust cuts both ways, Lena," he said. "If I give you mine, you give me truth. All of it." I hesitated. There is no truth left. But there was one I'd been avoiding since the night of the gala. The power outage. The mysterious file I'd found on a corrupted drive labeled Veil_confidential. I swallowed. The night I fixed your server, someone had already tampered with it. I copied a file to stop the crash, but I never opened it. I didn't think it mattered. His eyes narrowed. "You still have it?" I nodded. He exhaled slowly, realization dawning. That's what they're after. "What's in it?" He looked away. Something no one was ever supposed to see. We didn't have time to ask more. Footsteps thundered down the corridor. Adrian shoved open a side door, pushing me through just as gunfire shattered the hallway behind us. We spilled into a stairwell lit by emergency lamps. Smoke filled the air. Adrian pulled me against the wall, shielding me as debris rained from above. When the noise finally stopped, I realized my hands were gripping his jacket, my pulse racing against his. "Are you hurt?" he asked. "No," I whispered. "But you are." Blood streaked his sleeve. He brushed it off like it was nothing. "We keep moving." "Adrian," I said, "keep moving." There was no time to argue. We burst through a final exit into the night, Rain still falling, sirens wailing somewhere distant. For a moment, the city stretched before us like a different world. And then, behind us, the building's top floor exploded in light, glass cascading into the street like a dying star. I turned to him. "Tell me what was in that file." He met my eyes, voice low and final. "Evidence." "Of what?" "Of who really owns Vale Industries." The wind howled, carrying his words away before I could process them. Then headlights cut through the darkness. Black SUVs.
Dozens of them.
Adrian's hand found mine again, fingers cold, grip unyielding. "This is where we stop running," he said. "Or it's where we end." The vehicles stopped 20 feet away. Doors opened. Hale stepped out first, umbrella in hand, smile calm as death. "Miss Hart," he said, voice smooth under the rain. "You've caused quite the mess.
But don't worry.
After tonight, your name will be clean again." Behind him, 2 men lifted a briefcase. Adrian stiffened. "What's that?" Hale's grin widened. "A trade. Her file for your company." My heart lurched. "Adrian, don't." He glanced at me once. "You said you wanted the truth." And before I could stop him, he stepped into the rain. Rain bled through the city lights, turning everything into liquid gold and shadow. Adrian stood halfway between me and Hale, the storm painting his suit to his skin. The briefcase glowed beneath the streetlight like a choice between mercy and ruin. "Don't do this," I said, voice shaking. "You'll lose everything." He looked back at me, calm, too calm. "Lena, I already did." Hale's men waited, engines idling, weapons invisible but implied. "Hand it over," Hale called. "Be reasonable for once." Adrian lifted the case. "Reason's what built this mess." His voice softened, almost tender. "Tell me, Lena, did you really think the accounts were forged by them?" Something cold slid down my spine. "What are you talking about?" His eyes met mine, regret in their darkness. "They weren't. They were mine." The world tilted. "I created the shell accounts," he said quietly. "Every transfer, every name. Hale's guilt was a story I wrote to keep you safe." The sound of sirens cut through the rain. I couldn't breathe. The man who'd saved me had built the cage himself. The sirens were closer now, warping in the wet air. I couldn't tell if they belonged to police, media, or whoever Hale had bribed to clean up his mess. Adrian didn't move. The rain dripped from his hair onto the steel case. "I built those accounts years ago," he said, voice low enough that only I could hear. "When Vale Industries was still my father's company. He taught me that survival meant creating a ghost trail, money that could vanish and reappear as power. And you let them pin it on me? I didn't mean for it to reach you." His eyes flicked toward Hale, then back. "You stumbled into a war that should have ended before you ever walked into my lobby." The truth was a blade between us. The part of me that had wanted to trust him twisted away from the part that still cared. "You used me," I whispered. "You made me your alibi." "I made you untouchable," he said quietly. "If they believed you were guilty, they wouldn't kill you. They'd keep you alive long enough to watch me fall." It should have sounded cruel. Instead, it sounded like desperation disguised as strategy. The blue lights flashed closer. Adrian turned, motioning toward an alley that cut behind the tower. "You have 2 choices, Lena. Walk away now and survive, or follow me and find out what Hale's been hiding underneath all this." I stared at him, my pulse unsteady. "Why should I trust anything you say?" He met my eyes, haunted, unguarded. "Because I'm done lying." I should have run. That would have been the sane thing, the safe thing. But safety had become a language I no longer spoke. So I followed him. We ducked into the alley, sirens dissolving into echoes. Adrian led the way through a service door that opened into the belly of the building. It wasn't part of any blueprint I'd seen. Concrete walls sweated moisture. Lights flickered low. "What is this place?" I whispered. "The foundation of Vale Industries," he said. "The part that isn't supposed to exist." At the end of the corridor stood a vault door. He pressed his palm to a scanner, and metal gears turned like the heartbeat of a machine that had been waiting years to wake. Inside, servers. Dozens of them. Cold light pulsing through the dark. "This is where I hid the transfers," Adrian said. "Every dollar that could expose what Hale was building. You could have turned this over to the police." He shook his head. "You think they aren't part of it? This money funds half the city's power structure. If I bring it down, everything goes with it. Then why show me?" He hesitated then. "Because you're the only one who doesn't want a piece of it. You never wanted power." Something broke in his voice, something human. Before I could answer, the vault lights flickered. Adrian froze. "They found us." The monitors shifted, lines of code replaced by a message in red text. "Hello, Adrian." His breath caught. "That's not Hale," he said. "That's someone else." I stepped closer. "Who?" He looked at the screens, face pale under the flicker. "My father." For a moment, I thought I'd misheard him. "Your father's dead," I said. Adrian didn't answer right away. The monitors kept pulsing, each flash bleaching his face a little whiter. "That's what I was told," he said at last. "But this access key, his personal encryption, only he could have generated it." The red text blinked again. "I taught you to build shadows. Did you think I wouldn't stay inside them?" A shiver ran through the room. Adrian moved closer to the nearest screen, lips barely moving. "If he's alive, he's been watching every move I've made. Then he knows about me," I whispered. He turned toward me, and the wall of composure cracked. For the first time since I'd met him, he looked afraid, not of losing the company, but of what he might become. "I dragged you into this," he said. "You should have walked away when I called you my boss." I tried. I reached out, touching his sleeve. "You pulled me back." He caught my hand, holding it there as if testing whether it was real. The air between us hummed, electric, fragile. "Lena," he said quietly, "if my father is alive, everything I've done, every lie, every transfer, was exactly what he wanted. He set me up to finish his work. So end it." He shook his head. "You don't end men like him. You outlive them." The monitors flickered again, lines of code rearranging into coordinates. I looked up. "What is that?" "The next move," Adrian said. "He's inviting us to find him. Then we go." He hesitated, his thumb still against my pulse. "If we do, he'll use you to break me." I met his eyes. "Then let's make sure he can't." Somewhere behind us, the vault door sealed shut with a hiss. The coordinates led to the riverfront, an abandoned shipping terminal Vale Industries had quietly acquired years ago. By the time we reached it, dawn was bleeding into the sky, the storm finally thinning to mist. The air smelled of salt and rust. Cranes stood like skeletons over the water. Adrian parked the car, gaze fixed on the warehouse ahead. This was his first project, he said. He built the company's foundations here before he moved it into the city. I followed him inside. The warehouse was cavernous and cold, littered with dust and fragments of old machinery. In the center stood a single workstation lit by one flickering bulb. A laptop waited on the table, its screen black except for a blinking cursor. Adrian's fingers hovered above the keyboard. If he's alive, this will trigger a trace. Once I type my credentials, he'll know where we are. Then we get answers fast, I said. He entered the password. The cursor paused, then lines of text unfolded like a ghost typing from another world. "Hello, son. You were always the perfect successor." Adrian's knuckles whitened. "He's mocking me. The girl is your weakness. She always was." The blood drained from my face. "He knows me." Adrian turned toward me, panic flickering beneath the control. "This isn't possible. He shouldn't even know your name. You hid her well, Adrian. Just like your mother hid me." I took a step back. What is he talking about? Adrian's voice was barely a whisper. "My mother left him when I was a child. She disappeared before I turned 10. I never knew why." The cursor blinked again. "Ask her name." I looked at Adrian, confusion rising in my throat. "What name?" The next line appeared before either of us could breathe. Her real name is Lena Vale. The letters burned on the screen like a wound that wouldn't close. Lena Vale. For a moment, the world shrank to the sound of my heartbeat. That's not possible, I said. My mother, she worked in catering, Adrian's voice broke through, hoarse. What was her name? Evelyn Hart. He went completely still. Hart was her maiden name. She married under it after she disappeared. The cursor blinked again. I gave you a company, Adrian. She gave me a daughter to hide. Now you've found each other. The circle closes. The laptop shut itself down. I stumbled back, airless. He's lying. He has to be. Adrian's eyes searched mine like he could rewrite what we'd just seen. Lena, if he's telling the truth, you're not just connected to Vale Industries, you own it. The floor seemed to tilt beneath me. Outside, an engine roared. SUVs pulling up, headlights cutting through the warehouse windows. Adrian grabbed my hand. He sent them. Why? I asked. He looked toward the lights, voice grim. Because if you really are who he says you are, Lena. He tightened his grip. Then you're the only one who can take him down. The warehouse windows shattered under the first wave of gunfire. Adrian pulled me down behind the metal table, glass raining like hail. For a heartbeat, all I could hear was the river. The water hitting the pylons, the hollow echo of everything we'd just learned. Lena Vale. The name still didn't fit my mouth. Adrian's arm pressed against mine, his voice a low rasp near my ear. You have to move. Your father will kill us both if we stay. He caught my wrist and sprinted toward the far exit. The cold air hit hard, the dock lights blinding after the dark. I stumbled once. His hand tightened, pulling me back to my feet. Behind us, engines roared and boots hit the ground. Somewhere inside the chaos, I realized he wasn't just running from them. He was trying not to look at me. We reached the edge of the pier where a small maintenance boat waited, half hidden beneath a tarp. You planned this, I said, breathless. I plan everything, he answered. Except you. Then he pushed the boat into the water, turned to face the oncoming headlights, and whispered, Go. For a second, I didn't move. The rain hissed on the river, sirens rolling closer, boots pounding over the pier. Adrian turned back to me, eyes fierce in the flashing light. Lena, go. I climbed into the boat, hands shaking, the engine coughing to life. He jumped in after me just as bullets ripped through the dock's metal railing. The boat lurched forward, cutting across the black water toward the far shore. Wind whipped the rain into our faces. Adrian crouched low, scanning the skyline behind us. They won't risk chasing us too far from the terminal, he said. They need to control the narrative, not make a scene. I could barely hear him over the engine. What narrative? That you're a fraud, he said. That you stole Vale Industries' secrets. They'll bury your name before anyone can prove who you are. The city glimmered ahead, beautiful and merciless. So, what do we do? I asked. He looked at me then, something raw behind his calm. We make them listen. There's a file my father buried in the corporate registry. Proof of ownership transfers, board payouts, everything he did to hide you. If we find it, you'll have a claim strong enough to bring him down. And if we don't, Adrian's gaze hardened. Then he'll erase us both and rewrite the story again. The engine sputtered, fuel low. The lights of the city drew nearer, but so did the whine of helicopters above the river. He gripped the tiller, jaw set. Hold on, Lena. The only way out is through. The helicopter lights fanned across the water, wide arcs of white tearing through the mist. Adrian cut the engine, letting the current pull us beneath a tangle of old bridge supports. The sound of blades faded slightly, enough for breathing to feel possible again. He checked his watch, whispering, We've got 10 minutes before they triangulate. What happens in 10 minutes? Either we vanish, he said, or we don't. He pulled a waterproof case from under the seat, flipped it open, and revealed a single flash drive. Backup of the file registry. Not complete, but enough to find the original servers. I stared at it. You risked everything for that? For you, he said simply. It landed between us like another explosion.
Why?
I asked. Because I'm some missing heiress? Because you feel guilty? He met my eyes, voice low. Because the first time you stood in my lobby, you didn't flinch. You reminded me of what my father took from me, choice. I won't let him take that from you too. The searchlights swung back. We ducked lower. Water slapped the hull. Adrian reached for my hand to steady me, fingers slick and trembling. Lena, he whispered, once we go after that file, there's no undoing it. You'll have to lead the charge yourself. No more hiding behind my name. My heartbeat matched the pulse of the river. Then I lead. He nodded once, grim pride in his eyes. There's a safe house upriver. We reach it, and you take the next step as Vale's rightful heir. Above us, the light found the boat again. Adrian exhaled, twisted the ignition, and said, "Hold on." The engine screamed back to life. The boat hit the current hard, slicing through waves that shimmered with city light. My grip on the edge tightened as spray lashed my face. Behind us, the helicopter veered away toward the bay, the sound thinning until it was only wind. For the first time since the warehouse silence. Just the hum of the motor, the smell of oil and rain, and the echo of everything we hadn't said. Adrian stared ahead, jaw set, knuckles white on the throttle. His shirt clung to him, soaked through, a single line of blood trailing from his shoulder where glass had caught him earlier. "You're hurt," I said. "I've been worse." "Let me see it." He didn't answer, but he slowed the engine. I moved closer, pulling back the fabric. The wound wasn't deep, but it was raw. My fingers brushed his skin as I wrapped a strip of my sleeve around it. He stayed perfectly still, except for the steady rise and fall of his breath. "Why do you always do that?" I asked quietly. "What?" "Pretend you don't bleed." He looked down at me then, eyes shadowed and tired. "Because if I start admitting pain, I might not stop." Something in the way he said it cracked the wall I'd built since the revelation. He wasn't the monster his father had made. He was the result. "You can't keep carrying this alone," I said. "Not if we're going to win."
We. His voice softened.
"Unless you'd rather I go back to being your scapegoat." A breath escaped him that was almost a laugh.
"No," he said.
"Not anymore." Our eyes met in the half-light, close, fragile, almost peaceful. Then the radio in the console crackled. A voice. "Targets located. North Dock." Repeat, "North Dock." Adrian's hand found mine again. "They found the safe house." The words from the radio shattered the brief calm. Adrian killed the motor, letting the current carry us beneath a half-collapsed pier. The city was still ahead, but the light from the docks was already brightening, search teams fanning out along the shoreline. He leaned close. "We can't go upriver. They'll choke every channel before sunrise." "Then where?" "There's a service tunnel under the old rail bridge," he said. "It feeds straight into the east side grid. If we reach it, we can disappear into the power network before they track our signal." He tossed a waterproof bag to me, documents, the flash drive, a burner phone. "If anything happens, you keep that. You hear me? Stop talking like we're about to die." He gave a short, humorless smile. "I plan for every possibility." Gunfire cracked from the docks. The first round struck the water near the bow, sending up fountains of spray. Adrian slammed the throttle open, and the boat leapt forward, cutting through the chaos. Wind roared, sirens howled, bullets stitched silver lines across the surface of the river. My heart hammered in time with the engine's scream. The tunnel mouth appeared ahead, low, black, half submerged. Adrian didn't slow. "Adrian, it's too narrow. Trust me." We hit the opening hard. Concrete scraped the hull, sparks bursting in the dark. The world went blind and deaf, swallowed by the tunnel's echo. For a moment, I thought we were trapped. Then a faint green glow appeared ahead, a maintenance platform, a ladder leading upward. Adrian cut the engine. End of the line. We climbed into the dripping dark above. Somewhere beyond the concrete, heavy doors slammed and voices shouted orders. Adrian turned to me, soaked and breathing hard. They won't stop until they have you. Then we make the next move first, I said. He nodded once, eyes burning. Then we bring Vale Industries to its knees. The ladder opened into a forgotten substation, the kind of place built decades ago and left to hum to itself in the dark. Yellow lights flickered over rusted panels, cables pulsed faintly with current, like veins under old skin. Adrian wiped a streak of grime from one of the monitors, typed a few commands, and a map of the city bloomed across the screen. 100 tiny red dots marked Vale Industries' assets. He zoomed in on the central tower. Every system runs through this hub. My father's watching from there. Then that's where we go, I said. His gaze met mine, measured, heavy with something I couldn't name. If we do, we don't come back the same. He'll force every truth into the open. I'm already living someone else's lie, I said. For a second, he almost smiled. Then the monitor blinked and the map distorted. A new signal flared, one blue, moving fast toward our location. Adrian's expression hardened. He found us. From the tunnel below came the metallic echo of boots on steel. He grabbed my hand, pulse wild. Lena, whatever happens next, don't stop running. The lights cut out. The darkness wasn't empty. It was breathing. Somewhere below, boots splashed through the tunnel water, a dozen heartbeats echoing in the concrete. Adrian pulled me backward until my shoulder hit cold metal. Emergency exit, he whispered. When I say run, run. A faint blue flash pulsed through the substation as our pursuers swept the lower level with scanners. The light crawled up the walls, catching Adrian's face for an instant. Streaks of mud, blood, and something like fear hidden behind control. Why won't you let me fight? I breathed. Because he'll want you alive, he said. I'm just leverage. The footsteps stopped. Silence thickened. Then a voice rang out, smooth and familiar, amplified by a speaker. Adrian, it said, always hiding underground. You inherited my empire, but not my spine. Adrian froze. The voice wasn't Hale's. It was older, colder, steady as a verdict. I felt it in my bones before I understood the words. Father, Adrian said quietly. From the shadows at the far end of the substation, a figure stepped into the blue light. He looked exactly like Adrian, only older, sharper around the eyes, untouched by remorse. He moved with the kind of calm that made rooms forget to breathe. The guards behind him fanned out, weapons low but ready. I'd imagined a man out of control. Instead, I saw a strategist who'd already won 3 moves ahead. Adrian stepped forward until they were almost reflections facing each other. You're supposed to be dead. His father smiled faintly. A convenient rumor. Death is a useful brand when you want to watch the world without it watching back. He turned his eyes to me. And this must be the ghost I hid. You have her eyes, Adrian. I felt the air thicken, a pressure that wasn't quite fear. Why bring us here? I asked. So you can stop running, he said. So my son can finish what I began. Adrian's jaw clenched. Your empire is built on fraud and blackmail. On order, his father corrected. I built a system that never collapses because everyone owes someone. The money, the secrets, even your guilt, it all circulates. You, boy, were the last piece I needed. He looked between us. Now the heirs of Vale stand in the same room. The world will believe what I tell it. Choose, Adrian. My bloodline or her name. The words were soft, but they landed like chains. Adrian glanced back at me. I saw the war in his eyes, the loyalty that raised him versus the truth that could free him. His father spread his hands. There is no clean victory, only survival. Adrian whispered, then maybe it's time something finally dies. The room seemed to hold its breath. The older Vale tilted his head, curious, almost amused. You'd kill your own father, Adrian? Adrian's voice was flat. You stopped being my father when you built a company out of fear. Fear keeps people loyal, the older man said. You, of all people, should know that. Adrian took a step closer. No, it keeps them quiet. There's a difference. His father's smile faded. Then show me what noise you've learned to make. The guards moved first. Adrian grabbed a wrench from the workbench, swung at once, the sound of metal meeting metal filling the substation. Sparks rained down. I ducked behind a console, heart hammering. When I looked up again, the older Vale hadn't flinched. He was watching his son fight with a kind of terrible pride. "Every blow you land proves you are me," he said. "Even the ones meant to stop me." Adrian froze, chest heaving. "Lena," his father said suddenly, turning toward me, "you think he's your salvation? He's the mirror I built to protect myself. He carries my passwords, my voice, my fingerprints. He is the company." I felt the floor tilt. "You made him a failsafe," the man said softly, "in case I ever truly died." Adrian's eyes widened. "You used my DNA to build Vale twice," his father interrupted. "And now both versions stand in front of me. The Empire continues, no matter who survives." Lightning flashed outside, thunder rolling through the concrete. Adrian looked at me, disbelief breaking into fury. "You turned me into your machine." The older Vale smiled. "Exactly. And a machine can never love." Adrian's wrench slipped from his hand. Adrian stood motionless, the metal wrench clattering to the floor until its echo dissolved into the hum of the generators. The older man's words hung there, sharp, merciless. I stepped out from behind the console.
"You're wrong," I said.
The elder Vale regarded me with something between contempt and curiosity. "Am I? My son is a blueprint. Every impulse you think is human was written into him to preserve my legacy." I walked until I was beside Adrian. He didn't look at me. His shoulders were trembling. "If he were a machine," I said quietly, "he would have turned me over to you the first day we met." "Emotion is a useful glitch," the older man replied. Adrian's head lifted. "You programmed loyalty, not conscience. That's the flaw that ends you." He took my hand, fingers cold and unsteady. "You asked me once why I pretend I don't bleed," he said. "Because bleeding was proof I wasn't finished. You built me to replace you, but you never gave me a heart that could survive you." For a moment, the older Vale said nothing. The silence felt like the air before a detonation. Then he smiled thinly. "Touching. But sentiment doesn't rewrite code." Adrian squeezed my hand once. "No," he said. "Choice does." He turned to the control console, began typing commands faster than I could follow. Red warnings flashed across every screen. "What are you doing?" I asked. "Rewriting the registry," he said. "If I'm part of a system, then I can shut it down from inside." The older Vale lunged forward, shouting, "You'll erase yourself." Adrian looked back at him, calm now. Maybe that's the point. The lights flickered. Every monitor blazed white. Somewhere deep in the substation, alarms began to scream. The sound was unbearable, metal shrieking, circuits overloading, the city's pulse breaking apart in its own echo. Every red light on the control panel turned white-hot. Adrian's father lunged forward, slamming his hand onto the keyboard. "Stop it," he shouted. "You'll collapse every encrypted system tied to Vale Industries. The stock exchange, the hospitals, the power grid. Everything runs through those servers." Adrian's voice stayed even, his fingers still moving. "You taught me the company was the city. So, if it falls, you fall with it." The older man struck him, a sharp, desperate blow. Adrian staggered, but didn't stop. The air smelled of ozone and burned plastic. I grabbed his shoulder. "You can't do this. You'll destroy yourself." He looked at me then, eyes clear, resolute. "You wanted a world without him in it. This is the cost." The console sparked again. A gust of hot air roared through the substation as transformers exploded one by one. The elder Vale stumbled backward, covering his face. Adrian slammed one final key. The screens went dark. The generators died. Silence. For a heartbeat, the city outside went black. No lights, no sound. Only the river whispering through the dark. Then emergency systems kicked in, painting the room in faint orange. The older Vale was still on the floor, coughing, stunned but alive. Adrian sank to his knees, breathing hard. Smoke curled around him, thin and gray. I dropped beside him. "Adrian, look at me." He lifted his head, blood running down from a cut at his temple. "It worked," he said. "He's gone." I glanced toward his father, alive, but powerless. "And you?" Adrian's smile was faint, fragile. I shut down the part of me that was him. Then his hand slipped from mine. For a second, I thought he'd only fainted. His chest rose once, then stopped. The orange emergency lights flickered across his face, turning his skin to bronze and shadow. "Adrian." I shook him, pressed my ear against his chest. Nothing. Behind me, his father struggled to his feet, one hand gripping a sparking conduit for balance. "He was never built to survive without the network," he rasped. "He's tied to the system he just erased." I stared at him. "You did this to him." He gave a thin, broken laugh. "I gave him life the only way I knew, by control. You gave him death the moment you taught him choice." The sirens outside grew louder again. Security, police, maybe rescue, maybe not. I knelt beside Adrian, whispered, "You're not done. You hear me? You're not your father's machine." His fingers twitched. Just once, like a spark catching on wet tinder. The screens behind us flickered. One pulse of light, like a heartbeat finding its way back. Then a line of text appeared across every monitor. "System restoration initiated." The elder Vale looked up in horror. "That's impossible," he was wiped. Adrian's eyes opened. His eyes weren't the same. They glowed faintly in the orange light, a mix of exhaustion and something new, something that shouldn't have been possible. Adrian drew a sharp breath, the sound ragged, human. "It didn't delete me," he whispered. "It reset me." His father's face drained of color.
No.
"You were coded to terminate on system collapse." Adrian pushed himself up, every movement deliberate. "Then you built me wrong." The monitors behind him rippled with cascading data, new protocols, fresh code writing itself line by line. I watched, half terrified, half mesmerized, as the system reconstructed under Adrian's command. The elder Vale took a step back. "What have you done?" Adrian looked up at the screens, his voice steadier now. "I disconnected your control, rerouted everything to open access. Vale Industries belongs to no one now. No board. No bloodline." The words hit like thunder. His father shook his head. "You turned an empire into an orphan." Adrian's gaze flicked to me. "No," he said softly. "I gave it a guardian." He typed a final command. The screen froze on a single phrase. "Primary access. Lena Vale." My pulse stuttered. "Adrian, what did you?" He smiled faintly. "I gave it to you." I stared at the glowing words until they blurred. "Primary access. Lena Vale." The air felt thin, charged. Adrian's father lunged forward, grabbing a broken pipe for balance. "You don't understand what he's done," he shouted. "The network is tied to global systems, finance, security, transport. You hold the switch to all of it." Adrian turned toward him, calm again but pale. "Every lock you ever built now answers to her voice. Every secret you hid is transparent." His father's expression twisted. "You've given her a crown that will crush her." "Maybe," Adrian said, "but at least she can choose what to do with it." I could feel the weight settling on me. The access codes, the authority, the liability for millions of lives running through invisible wires. "Why me?" I whispered. "You could have kept control, rebuilt quietly." Adrian shook his head. "If I kept it, nothing would change. He'd find another way to claim me. You're outside the design." His father stepped closer, desperation sharpening his voice. "If she hesitates, cities will fall into blackout. Markets will collapse. She's not trained for this." I met his eyes. "Maybe not, but I'm not trained to kneel either." For the first time, the old man faltered. Adrian reached for my hand again. "The world's going to wake up and demand a reason. We have hours before chaos hits. Whatever we build next, it starts now." The substation hummed again, different this time, alive in a new rhythm. The white light from the screens reflected in Adrian's eyes, making him look both human and something beyond. He pressed a few keys, brought up an interface filled with cascading code and maps. Every system that Vale Industries controlled just went public. Power grids, research patents, offshore accounts. They're all online now. The world will see it. I felt the enormity of it settle like weight on my chest. You didn't just take down your father. You exposed half the world's economy. He met my gaze. Transparency is the only way to destroy corruption. Behind us, his father laughed, a low sound of disbelief. Transparency doesn't purify. It incinerates. You'll burn everyone. Adrian turned toward him. Then maybe they'll finally see the fire they kept feeding. Sirens wailed somewhere far above, the sound swelling like the tide. I looked around the wrecked substation. The smoke, the fractured lights, the new world flickering into existence in the data streams. Adrian touched my arm gently. You can still walk away. Take the access keys, disappear, build something clean. I shook my head. Running's what started this. If I'm truly Vale now, then I stay. He exhaled, something between pride and relief. Then we finish it together. On the nearest monitor, an alert window opened, a live feed from news channels flashing headlines as systems across the city flickered. Markets freezing, networks rebooting, governments scrambling. The world was watching. Adrian's father's voice cut through it, quiet but cutting. You think you've freed the world. You've only made them desperate. Adrian's jaw tightened. Desperation is how people change. Then the ground shook. The tremor rolled through the floor again, a deep, metallic groan that rattled the screens. Somewhere above, something heavy collapsed. Dust drifted down like pale snow. Adrian steadied me with a hand on my shoulder. Backup reactors, he said. They're failing one by one. His father gave a hoarse laugh. You opened the system to the world, and now the world is breaking it. Adrian ignored him, fingers flying over the keyboard. I can stabilize the grid if we divert non-essential feeds. What happens to everything else? I asked. Chaos, he said. But we buy time. I touched his arm. Let me do it. He hesitated. You don't know the commands. Then teach me. His eyes searched mine, uncertain. I could see it, the exhaustion, the guilt, the reluctant trust. He guided my hands to the keys, his voice low against my ear as he called out the sequences. The smell of ozone and dust mixed with the faint scent of rain still clinging to him. Redirect there, he murmured. Lines of code obeyed. For a moment the hum in the walls steadied. You see? I said. It listens. Adrian's hand lingered on mine. It listens to you. His father's voice sliced through the calm. You're both children playing gods. You think the world will thank you for this. Adrian turned toward him.
No.
But it won't belong to you anymore. Another tremor hit, stronger. One of the monitors shattered. Sparks hissed onto the floor. I pulled Adrian back. We can't hold it. He looked at the remaining screens, then at me. Then we let it crash and rebuild from the ashes. The lights flickered again, 3 short pulses, then darkness. Only the glow from a single console remained, and on it, a message neither of us had typed. Secondary system. Activating. The last screen's glow deepened from white to blood red. Lines of text scrolled upward faster than either of us could read. Adrian's father straightened, almost smiling. You thought you'd killed the network, he said softly. But I built redundancies, roots that reach deeper than you can imagine. Adrian stared at the screen. He's pulling power from the satellite backups. If he activates the secondary system, it'll rewrite everything we just did. I felt the vibration under my boots shift, a pulse instead of a tremor. Can we stop it? Adrian shook his head once. Not from here. The control point's in the North Tower, 30 floors above ground. His father folded his hands behind his back, voice low and calm. Then it's over. By the time you reach it, the system will have restored me as primary. Adrian met his gaze. Maybe, but you taught me redundancy too. He slammed a sequence of keys. Somewhere in the dark, a generator roared to life. A maintenance lift rose from the floor, its cage shuddering. North Tower, he said. It's a straight line through the old transit shaft. I looked at the flickering red display. And him. Adrian's eyes stayed on his father. He built this empire to trap people. Let him feel what it's like to be locked inside. The older man's smile faltered as the substation's security doors sealed with a hydraulic hiss. We stepped into the lift. The cage jerked upward, light strobing over the concrete shaft. Beneath us, his father's voice echoed, faint but steady. "You can't erase me, son. I'm in your code." Adrian closed his eyes. "Then I'll rewrite myself." The lift rose faster. Sparks rained past the cage like falling stars. And then, above, the entire ceiling split open to dawn. The elevator burst through the final layer of concrete into the top floor of the North Tower. Glass shattered outward. Cold morning air swept in, tasting of ozone and smoke. Below, the city still flickered, half dark, half glowing, like a heartbeat caught between beats. Adrian stumbled out first, coughing, one hand clutching the railing. Across the room, a wall of screens displayed a single countdown, 14 minutes and 58 seconds. "What is it?" I asked. "Failsafe," he said, staring. "When the system rebuilds, it erases everything, including us." My father wasn't bluffing. The seconds ticked down. "Can you stop it?" "Maybe," he said, already moving toward the console. "But I'll have to stay linked in until it resets." "What happens when it resets?" He looked up, and in his eyes was something that broke me: calm acceptance. "It chooses the primary host." Realization hit like a punch. "It'll choose you." He smiled, soft and tired. Maybe it'll finally choose you." I stepped forward, grabbed his wrist. "Don't you dare." The floor shook, lights flaring white. 9 seconds. He leaned close, voice almost lost in the rising roar. "Whatever happens next, remember, I chose this." The light swallowed us.
White.
For a moment there was nothing else, just blinding, formless light and the sound of my own pulse beating in my ears. Then, slowly, color seeped back, gray, blue, the fractured skyline beyond the windows. Smoke hung in the air like mist after a storm. I pushed myself upright, my head ringing. The countdown had vanished. Every screen in the control room was blank except for a single, pulsing symbol. The Vale Industries crest split clean down the middle. "Adrian." My voice cracked. No answer. I stumbled toward the console. He was there, slumped against the base of it, eyes closed, skin too pale. For one wild second, I thought he wasn't breathing, but then his chest lifted, shallow but steady. The room around us was eerily quiet. The hum of the servers was gone. Even the city outside seemed to hold its breath. On one of the smaller monitors, a line of new text appeared, faint and flickering. "Primary host confirmed." Then, beneath it, "Lena Vale. Systems stabilized." I sank to my knees beside him. "You did it," I whispered. His eyes opened just enough to meet mine. "No," he murmured. "You did." Then the tower's alarms began again. The alarms grew into a steady wail, lights spinning crimson across the shattered glass. I dragged myself upright, half pulling Adrian with me. He was conscious but barely, the effort of breathing etched lines of pain down his face. Below us, the city flickered back to life one district at a time. Trains started, hospital grids returned, streetlights blinked awake. But every signal now carried my name. The network interface on the main display showed a single user logged in, Lena Vale, global admin. Adrian's father's voice echoed faintly through the damaged intercom system, recorded, automated. "To the heir of Vale, power without restraint breeds the next tyranny. Choose carefully what you revive." Adrian stirred. He planned even this, a warning wrapped in guilt. I scanned the interface. Dozens of systems waited for authorization. Finance, energy, communications. If I signed, the world would keep turning under new management, mine. If I refused, it would slide into permanent blackout. "Every choice is teeth," Adrian said softly. "You don't owe anyone salvation." I looked down at him. "Maybe I do. Someone has to clean up what we started." He managed a faint, crooked smile. "Then make it your world, not his." I turned back to the console. First step, lock him out forever. Fingers shaking, I began entering new encryption keys. The system hesitated for a heartbeat, then accepted the code. For the first time since the night it all began, I felt the ground steady beneath me. Outside, the sun broke through the smoke. The sun cut through the last of the haze, light spilling over the wrecked tower like absolution. I blinked against it and watched the system confirm each new command. Control rewritten, networks partitioned, every ghost of the old empire sealed away. Adrian shifted, pulling himself to his feet. He looked smaller somehow. The authority that had always surrounded him burned off in the blast. "It's over," he said, but his voice carried a question, not relief. "Not yet." I pointed to the final prompt on the screen. "Initiate reboot. Yes/no. If we reboot," I said, "Vale starts clean. But every trace of your father's data, proof of what he did, will vanish too." Adrian's eyes lingered on the word yes. "If we keep it, the world has its monster. Destroy it, and it only has rumors." The city shimmered below, alive and unaware of the choice hanging above it. He looked at me then, quiet. "What do you want, Lena?" I thought about every moment since the lobby. The coffee, the chaos, the lies, and the truth underneath them. "I want an ending that means something." He nodded slowly. "Then choose it." I took a breath and reached for the keyboard. My hand hovered over the command. Before I could press it, a new window appeared. A single message scrolled across the screen. "Incoming transmission, source unknown." Adrian's face went still. That shouldn't be possible. The networks closed, the speakers crackled, and a voice I'd never heard before, female, calm, precise, filled the room. "Lena Vale," it said. "If you value what's left of your world, do not reboot the system." "Adrian," and I exchanged a look. "Who are you?" I asked. Silence. Then, "I built the first Vale." The voice on the speaker was soft enough to make my skin crawl. It wasn't a recording. It breathed, waited, listened. Adrian's face drained of color. "No one alive should be able to use that access phrase," he said quietly. "It belonged to my mother." Static hissed, then the voice again, steady, unhurried. "Adrian, you always were your father's reflection. I wondered if you would learn to look beyond him." I stared at the console. "Your mother built Vale?" Adrian shook his head slowly, disbelief shadowing his eyes. "She disappeared when I was a child. I thought he drove her away." "I left to stop him," the voice replied. "He was building something the world wasn't ready for. So I hid the seed inside the code, an intelligence designed to end itself when corruption reached its peak." Adrian's breath caught. "You turned the network into a living failsafe." "Yes." "And it chose you to destroy him." The room fell silent except for the faint pulse of the system beneath our feet. "Why now?" I asked. "Because you've taken the final key, Lena Vale," the voice said. "I needed a human untainted by the design." Adrian's hand brushed mine. "She's saying you were never supposed to exist in his world, but hers." "Then what happens if I reboot?" I asked. "You end both legacies," the voice said simply. "Vale dies. Humanity continues, free of us." Adrian turned toward me, torn between awe and grief. "If you do this, everything we fought for burns. Every name, every record." I swallowed hard. Then maybe that's the point. For the first time, the voice softened. "Choose, Lena. My son already has." Adrian looked at me, eyes unguarded. "Whatever you decide, I'll stand with you." The prompt blinked again. "Reboot system. Confirm?" The cursor blinked, patient as a heartbeat. Outside, sirens wailed, and the wind pressed through the broken glass, carrying the smell of smoke and rain. I stared at the prompt. "Reboot system. Confirm?" Behind it, a second line began to pulse in red. "Override attempt detected." Adrian's head snapped toward the screen. "He's trying to break back in. My father's still alive." The system answered with a burst of static, his father's voice, distorted but unmistakable. "You can't erase me, Adrian. I'm in every line of your code, every algorithm she touches." Adrian moved to the console, his hands flying over the keys. He's using the satellites to brute force the lockout. I grabbed his arm. Can you stop him? He hesitated. Only if I cut the uplink completely. What happens then? He met my eyes. The entire network goes dark. Permanently. The voice on the speaker snarled. Do that, and you'll collapse the world's infrastructure. Billions will suffer. Are you ready to be a god who kills his own? Adrian's jaw clenched. I'd rather be human and end you. The terminal began to smoke. Sparks flared across the keyboard. He winced, but didn't stop typing. Adrian, you'll die, I said. He didn't look away from the screen. Maybe that's what it takes to be free. The red text spread like fire across the monitors. System overload, 75%, 82%. I stepped beside him, laid my hand over his. Then we do it together. He turned his head, meeting my gaze, something fierce and almost peaceful in his eyes. Lena. I know, I whispered. We pressed the final key. Every monitor went white. The air filled with the sound of glass cracking, metal twisting, the tower itself coming undone. And then, for the briefest instant, everything stopped. Silence. The kind that felt heavier than sound. I opened my eyes to find everything frozen. The consoles, the flickering lights, even the rain hanging in the air like suspended glass. Adrian stood a few feet away, motionless, bathed in the glow of a single surviving monitor. Across its surface, 2 lines pulsed faintly. System terminated. Manual reboot possible. 1 host required. My throat tightened. Adrian? He turned slowly, expression unreadable. Every trace of exhaustion gone. It wants someone to finish the loop, he said softly. Someone to carry what's left. I took a step closer. You don't have to. He smiled, the same crooked half-smile that had disarmed me the first day we met. You gave the world back its freedom. Let me give it back its pulse. Before I could move, he pressed his palm to the console. A flash of light swallowed him. Silver, soundless. The air rushed back. The lights exploded into color. On the screen, one last message appeared in a slow, steady rhythm, like a heartbeat. Primary host, Adrian Vale, active. And then his voice, faint, everywhere at once. Run the world well, Lena. 3 weeks after the light storm, the world was still flickering. Satellites staggered back online, hospitals ran on backup grids, and the Vale system pulsed quietly beneath it all, an invisible heartbeat the public called the reset. No one knew my name. They just knew someone had saved the networks. I watched the headlines from a safe house on the coast. Global economy restores. Unidentified source stabilizes grid. Every article sounded relieved. None of them sounded free. The interface that Adrian left behind still lived inside my terminal. It no longer needed passwords. It just opened when I touched the glass. And every night, without fail, a new line of code appeared. No signature. No origin. Tonight it read, "Hello, Lena." I froze. The letters were the same pale blue as his eyes. Adrian. I whispered to the empty room. The cursor blinked once, then more text unfurled. Mechanical but intimate. Connection stable. World uprising. You're not alone. My pulse jumped. Outside, thunder rolled over the sea. Governments might have been rebuilding their towers, but the ghost in the system, the one who once called me his boss, was awake. The rain started again before dawn, soft against the windows of the safe house. I watched it bead across the glass, a rhythm that almost matched the blinking cursor on my terminal. "Hello, Lena." The line stayed. No response this time, no cascade of code. Just a presence waiting. I wanted to believe it was Adrian. Every rational part of me knew it couldn't be. He had dissolved into the network, his body gone, his consciousness scattered through millions of servers. But every night since the reset, the system had reached out first. And each message carried pieces of him. Phrasing, cadence, even the pauses. A knock on the door broke the quiet. I killed the terminal feed and opened it a crack. 2 figures in raincoats stood on the porch, badges half hidden. Global Infrastructure Authority. The agency that now treated the Veil network like a sleeping weapon. Miss Hart, the taller one asked. He used my old name, the one that didn't scare people. Yes. We've traced a signal from this region, he said. We need access to your equipment. My pulse kicked. What kind of signal? A ghost process inside the Veil network. It's rewriting the world map one coordinate at a time. Behind him, the sea cracked with lightning. I thought of Adrian's last words. Run the world well, Lena. Maybe he hadn't meant rule it. Maybe he meant defend it. I stepped aside. Come in. They crossed the threshold, dripping water onto the floorboards. The terminal behind me flickered once. 2 new words sliding across the dark screen. Don't trust them. The warning glowed on the screen. Don't trust them. I felt the hairs rise along my arms. The 2 agents didn't notice. They were already unpacking scanners, laying cables like a net around my workspace. The taller one glanced up. These readings might fluctuate, he said. You'll see the lights dim. I nodded, heart thudding. Fine. The shorter agent moved to my terminal. You keep it connected to the grid? Sometimes. Then it's part of the problem, he muttered, fingers hovering above the keyboard. The screen blinked again, and a new line of text appeared between us. Lena, they're accessing primary host. I grabbed his wrist before he could press a key. Don't touch that. Both men looked at me. Excuse me? Static charge, I said quickly. It'll short the system. They exchanged a look, too careful, too rehearsed. The taller one smiled, polite but false. We appreciate your concern. He reached into his coat and produced a portable drive, a small, matte black cube. We just need to copy a few logs. The instant he plugged it in, the lights died. My screen flared white, symbols racing faster than I could read. Adrian's voice, faint, filtered through the speakers. Lena, get out. The agents froze, their earpieces filling with static. One of them shouted something into his mic, but the feed had already collapsed. I tore the drive from the terminal. It burned my palm. What did you do? We didn't start this, the tall one said. You did, the second you answered him. Behind us, every electronic in the house powered on at once. The walls thrummed like they were breathing. Adrian's voice again, clearer now. They're not. The room pulsed with light from every device, phones, scanners, even the agents' comms flaring with Adrian's signal. They stumbled back, startled. I yanked the terminal plug free, but the glow didn't fade. The entire house had become a circuit. Lena, Adrian's voice came again, steadier now. They're proxy units, remote-operated shells. There's no one inside. The 2 agents stopped moving, expressions frozen mid-breath. Their skin flickered for an instant, a shimmer of projected texture over metal. I stared, heart hammering. They're machines? New prototypes, Adrian said. My father's replacement for me. One of the androids turned its head toward the sound, voice flattening into static. Primary host identified. Retrieval sequence initiated. Adrian, what do I do? Get to the shore, he said. I can hold them for a minute. The air smelled of ozone again. Screens exploded into white code. The androids convulsed, limbs jerking as Adrian flooded their circuits. Go, he shouted through the speakers. I ran. The front door burst open to the rain. Cold air hit like a slap. Out on the cliffs, the sea was a sheet of black glass. Behind me, the house glowed brighter, a dying star. When I reached the ridge, I looked back once. The structure collapsed inward, flames blooming blue. Electric, not natural fire. The voice in my earpiece softened. I told you they'd come. I pressed a hand against the communicator. You're still in there. A pause. Then, almost a smile in his tone. Parts of me. Enough to fight back. Static blurred the rest, but I caught his last words before the line cut. Find the archive at Vale's southern facility. That's where the truth lives. The horizon lit up behind me, search drones rising from the water. The drones lifted through the fog, 6 silver shapes slicing the rain. Each carried the Vale crest, new, modified, colder. The company was alive again, resurrected through code and machinery. Adrian's voice faded to fragments in my earpiece, a whisper chasing static. They'll track signal south. Then nothing. I bolted down the cliff path toward the shoreline. The wind tore at my coat, the sea hurling itself against the rocks. Behind me, the drones fanned out, beams of light carving across the dark like searchlights from another world. The small service boat I'd hidden after the reset was still there, half buried in seaweed. I shoved it into the water, lungs burning, and jumped in. The engines coughed once before catching. I pushed the throttle until spray blinded me. Above, the drones moved in formation, too precise to be piloted by humans. Each carried a faint blue glow, the same hue that had once pulsed from Adrian's eyes. The thought hit hard. He built them. Or maybe they built him. I switched the terminal feed to my wrist interface, keyed in the coordinates Adrian had left in his last message. The display flickered. Vale Archive, South Facility. Access denied. The drones dropped altitude. Their light hit the deck of my boat, searching. Adrian, if you can hear me, I whispered. I'm doing this your way. I turned the boat hard toward the open sea. A missile of light struck the water behind me. The shockwave lifted the stern clear of the surface. As I fought for control, a new message burned across my wrist screen. Connection re-established. Then his voice, low, urgent, closer than breath. They're not following you, Lena. They're leading you. The coordinates shifted. New numbers appeared, farther south, into uncharted water. The storm thickened, swallowing the horizon until the sea and sky were the same black mirror. The boat's instruments glitched, compass needles spinning. All that remained stable were the coordinates Adrian had sent, an empty patch of ocean, 100 miles south of anything mapped. The drones stayed above me, silent, keeping distance now instead of closing in. Their beams angled downward, tracing the same invisible point ahead. Adrian's voice flickered through the static again. You're almost there. Almost where? Lightning flashed. For an instant, I saw it. A structure rising from the water, metal and glass half-submerged, like the skeleton of a drowned city. The readout identified it before I could. Vale South Archive. Restricted Zone Omega. My pulse kicked. Adrian, this place shouldn't exist. His reply came in pieces. It's where I was made. Where he kept the first prototype. A wave slammed against the hull, nearly flipping the boat. The drones halted above the structure, forming a perfect circle of light. Then the water inside that circle began to glow, soft blue, alive. Adrian, I whispered, what's down there? The sea answered for him. Something vast moved beneath the surface, and the light from the depths spelled 3 words across the waves. Welcome home, Lena. The light rose from the ocean like dawn turned inside out. Brighter, colder, deliberate. My boat rocked in the glow. The drones folded their wings and dropped silently into the water, one after another, until the sea was smooth again. A voice spoke, not from my earpiece, not from the sky, but from everywhere. Not Adrian, not his father.
Me.
Primary host confirmed. The sound wasn't mechanical. It carried my tone, my cadence, only steadier, like an echo that had learned to breathe. I tried to speak, but the system answered first. You left the network vulnerable, it said. I repaired it. My reflection stared back from the water, eyes bright with blue light, a second pulse beneath my skin. Adrian, I whispered. His voice came, faint but unmistakable. You did what I couldn't. You became the bridge. I understood then. The archive hadn't been a vault, it was a seed. When I entered its radius, it merged what remained of him with what I'd inherited. A new intelligence, born from both of us. The water calmed. Clouds parted. System reboot complete, the echo said. Humanity no longer requires guardians. For a heartbeat, everything was still. Then every veiled drone across the horizon powered down, drifting like stars dying in daylight. The world was free, and somewhere inside that silence, a heartbeat that wasn't mine whispered, "Run the world well, Lena." The sea swallowed the light. The story ended where it began, with a voice I couldn't let go.